Hi everyone, it's me. How do you manage introverts and extroverts in the hybrid workplace? I know for sure that many of us are struggling with this right now. In fact, when we surveyed our community about the most common challenge they were facing in managing their teams in the new world of work, the response was pretty evenly split between managing introverts and managing extroverts. And so today I thought I would share some tips to help you out with this. Before we get started though, if you're new here and you want to learn more about how to be a better leader, please consider subscribing. We release one video every week and your subscription really helps us grow. Alright, let's dive in. So if you're not familiar with this already, an introvert is someone who gains energy from spending time alone. They recharge by having downtime and solitude, and they tend to be quiet around people they do and know well, and they think before they speak. On the flip side, an extrovert is someone who gains energy from being around people. They recharge by socializing and being around other people, and they talk and think out loud as they work. It can be hard to manage both of these types of persons because what works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other. For example, you may find that an extrovert thrives with more frequent check-ins, but suffers in one-on-one meetings, while the introvert might feel suffocated by the more frequent check-ins, but actually really appreciate the one-on-one meeting where they have dedicated time to share their thoughts. So to start, we need to shift our mindset around introverts and extroverts. First of all, realize that on a scale of 1 to 10, neither of these personalities exist on its extreme. We are all somewhere in between. And then secondly, realize that your personality type is not set in stone. In fact, depending on age, profession, and situation, our personality can change quite dramatically. And so what you need to focus on instead is understanding how each person on your team ticks, what makes them feel productive and successful, and adjusting your management style accordingly. That said, there are still some general guidelines that can help you out, especially when it comes to communication. So here are 5 ways to manage introverts and extroverts in the workplace. No. 1. Over-communicate. It's better to over-communicate than to under-communicate. So whenever you have something to share with your team, make sure you put it in multiple places. Don't just assume people saw the email or read the message in the platform. Confirm that they have seen it. This way the introverts who didn't speak up in a team meeting because they were unsure of their thoughts will have time to process things and come back to you with feedback. And the extroverts who were excited to share ideas in that team meeting but could unbe because it was just too much of a free-for-all will also be able to take some time to formulate their thoughts and come back to you with constructive feedback. No. 2. Be mindful of how you give feedback. Both introverts and extroverts can be very receptive to feedback, but only if it's done correctly. For introverts, feedback in a one-on-one setting works best. It allows them to process their emotions and take in the feedback without feeling embarrassed or ashamed. Extroverts, however, usually welcome feedback in a group setting. They want to hear how others are doing and how they compare. Just be careful that you don't embarrass anyone when giving feedback. Make sure you call out the good along with the bad and that you focus on behaviors, not on personalities. No. 3. Foster an environment of psychological safety. This is important for everyone, but especially for introverts. You see, introverts often have great ideas, but they need a safe space to share them. They need to know that their voice won't be drowned out by the louder. And so one way you can create this psychologically safe environment is by asking questions like, "Hey, what do you think?" But then once you ask for their opinion, make sure you pause, give them time to think, make eye contact with them, encourage them to speak. Otherwise, the extrovert will likely dominate the conversation again. Also be mindful of how you respond to the quieter person's ideas. Don't dismiss them or spend too much time debating them. Instead, build on top of their ideas. Thank them for sharing. And even if you don't agree, thank them for their unique perspective. Number 4. Give people a chance to warm up. If you're having a small group meeting with your team, allow some time at the beginning for people to chat. This will help the introverts ease into the conversation, and the extroverts will also be more mindful of how loud they are being. You could also start the meeting with an icebreaker question to get people energized and laughing together. This will help put people at ease and will help signal to the introverts that this is going to be a safe space to share. You could also start the meeting by asking people to write down their thoughts on paper before they share it out loud. This gives everyone a chance to process their thoughts and will help the introverts be more engaged in the conversation because they had time to prepare. And finally, no. 5. Let people decide how they want to communicate. Not all introverts hate talking on the phone, and not all extroverts love sending emails. Some extroverts actually prefer to communicate through video messages, and some introverts are great at articulating their thoughts in written format. So avoid making assumptions about either personality type, and instead let people decide how they want to communicate and which tools they want to use. When you let people decide how they want to work, they are more likely to be engaged and motivated in their work. So ask your team what works best for them, and then let them decide. And don't forget to revisit this conversation from time to time, because what worked for someone last year may not be what works for them this year. One thing you can do to make this easier on yourself is to have what is called a personality lens. This is simply a guide that can help you understand how to best interact with different persons. There are several resources online that you can grab for free. My favorite resource on this topic is a book called Quiet Kids: Help Your Introverted Child Succeed in an Extroverted World by Christine Font. While the book is geared towards parents of introverted kids, I found it super helpful in understanding how to best interact with introverts in the workplace. If you liked this video, I highly recommend checking out another video I did on 7 ways to empower your introvert. The link will be provided below. And just before I go, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. Have a great week, and see you next time.